Welcome to, I believe, our 8th banishment where someone will be going home tonight. You all know the flow of this. I'm going to ask some questions. We're going to chat for a bit, and then it will be time to vote. When it's time to vote, you will Slack me directly with who you'd like to vote for. So, Ben, you've been on exile, and you get thrown right back into it. Not only thrown back into the team, but the challenge. How were you feeling?
I was feeling really good after exile. I felt centered. I felt whole. I did a lot of yoga and meditating. I found this great little cave underneath a tree where I slept, way better than the shelter on the big green. So I was ready to rock. And then I heard the word burpee and I just threw up a little in my mouth, and then I put it back down. And that would happen later on in the night as well. So suffice it to say, yeah, I was thrown right back in, and it's been a lot.
So, and I want to stick with you for a sec on that, because one of the hard things is you're thrown back and you've got dynamics, but then you've got a challenge. And like part of, how do you balance, like, I want to step up and say, like, this is how we should do this challenge. Like, you have competed, you're the only one actually who's competed in a version of this in season 2, but also I don't want to be seen as that guy who's like, this is how we should do it, and you should do this, and you should do that.
Yeah, lost both times. So if there's ever an All Stars Part 2 and I'm in that, don't listen to me or don't be on my team for that challenge. I honestly didn't think strategy for a second until well after the end of the challenge. And by the time I was added to the Slack room, it was like, I mean, everyone can vouch for this, a bit of a mess. Like, I'll do D, no, I'll do D. Who's doing F? Wait, are we going by the numbers on the top or the letters in the middle? And so I think we were all equally just trying to put ourselves in the best situation. And I think we had no real problem strategy wise necessarily. I think we just didn't quite get it done. And I don't think there's anybody to blame. That's truly a team challenge, and we just didn't get it done.
So it's interesting that you say that, because it honestly has felt like the vibe of this season that it really doesn't even matter how you perform in a challenge. It doesn't feel like, oh, we need to keep challenge beasts until we make it to the merge or so and so. It more so feels like everyone is just thinking about the vote in terms of who the people are and the players. Jody, you are, of course, I have to bring it up, you're the person who fell out of the handstand yesterday. And we could argue that that was a detriment to the team, but also Team Big Green won by so many burpees. So what do you feel in terms of, like, does it matter about retaining a strong team physically?
I think that is almost secondary to a lot of people, because this game is a social game too. And so, like, if you lose a challenge, you lose a challenge, but most importantly, you need those people too. Like, that's how you actually survive too, is the relationships you make. Yeah, I think you have a point where you're saying, like, does challenge performance mean you're automatically out? I'm looking at myself objectively in every challenge so far, and I'm like, have I been able to feel proud like I've done this for my team? And the answer is no, but I'm still here. So, you got to try any which way you can, but yeah.
Okay, so Deanna, it's All Stars and it's all about managing threat level, right? And your threat level compared to someone else's. Going off of what Jody said, he's not done well in these challenges. You could say, okay, maybe he's not going to do good in any of the individual challenges and he will be an easy vote off. Do you go with the easier vote now, or do you, we're getting closer to the merge, do you make that big game move to reduce someone else's threat level, cut them out of the game?
I think that I've been having the issue where thinking long term with so many variables has become hard. When I think post merge, I haven't even considered like people's performance in those individual immunity challenges, because I have a hard time predicting, like, what challenges are we going to have, who's going to perform well, because there are some people who, I don't know how they perform or what their strong suits are. So I've definitely tried to map that out, but have had a difficult time doing it.
Sure. So Joey, it's great that you have Ben joining the team. He did very well in the challenge last night, but he was on exile. And when you were on exile last season, you were able to win an advantage of some sort. Are you concerned that Ben has in his pocket an idol or an advantage?
I mean, I've gone back and forth. So like on my season, I won a long distance Zoom token. So it allowed me to be in a situation where I could call someone from another team, but it wasn't an idol. So then it's like, you think, okay, so I could say at first, oh, that could be something that Ben got, or Ben could have got something different, or Ben could have got nothing. I mean, I think I've gone, you have to like, I think we've all like watched the show, we've all seen the game, so we're all thinking about it, but at the same time, it's like, I could spend all day doing that, but eventually I had to be like, I need to move on and think about something else and not obsess over that.
So, Hilly, you were the former only Big Green member, and you survived the first banishment of TBD 2.0, and then Ben joined, and he was on Big Green with you. How did you feel seeing Ben join your team?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like it kind of hurt me. I was kind of dreading him coming back in some ways, just because there's so much talk about season 1, and then we were on the same tribe together. So it definitely made me nervous and uneasy yesterday and most of today. At the end of the day, though, I had a whole day or two prior to Ben joining to get to know this team, and at least I hope prove my loyalty and the way I want to play. But I mean, it's always fun to see a familiar face, but at the same time, like I said, it's not like him coming back gave us numbers or made me feel more secure. It just made me more insecure in this place where I was kind of liking where I was and getting to know this new tribe. So
okay, so off of that, Gray, it is interesting that Hilly brings up this season oneness, right? And that's Hilly, Sophie, and Ben. That's 3 people, but I see 4 Team Lala original people on this team. Do you worry that there is a target on someone from Team Lala's team? Because like, you guys have very big numbers, we're getting close to the merge. No one wants that big majority.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're not nervous in this game, that's a weird thing. Like, I think everyone is just always constantly nervous about what everyone else is doing. And like going into this, it's like, okay, you've built all these connections with people before the slop, and then you have new people come in from the slop, and then you add Ben. And so it's, what connections do I trust? And that I've been working with these people, and you kind of hold on to that and hope that all of the work that you've been doing is going to move you forward in the game.
So I want to circle back to what Hilly said. And Jody, I'm going to ask you, Britt went home last banishment and she was on the original TBD team with you. So you could argue easy picking, we picked off Britt, now we can pick off you, but also you might have more maneuverability. You don't owe any loyalty to anyone from previous TBD on this team, kind of like how Hilly was last banishment. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel exactly how you described. It's either going to go one way or the other. And for me, like, voting out Britt was me being like, yeah, Britt was on my team, but I know I can't really get anywhere with Britt long term. Like, I feel like that was kind of it just made sense. She's a winner and just knows this game like the back of her hand. And you've also brought up having to play different before, but I'm almost finding myself playing a little bit more similar. Like, that Brit vote to me was like the Molly vote. I was like, this is someone I can trust and I know who trusts me. But I have to let go of this relationship in order to keep playing this game. And like, that's what I'm just trying to prove to this new team. So it's like, I'm, the family's old dog, and I'm either going on the road trip or I'm getting dropped off at the farm.
Oh, so sad. So Sophie, Jody brings up a good point. He had to go with the numbers. It was in his best interest to do so. But how do you view that as, like, is it helpful to have that extra number in your pocket that you can use for a vote? Or does it make you feel like, well, shit, he was willing to flip on Britt. I don't know if I can trust him.
I think that, each new vote begins a new cycle. So like, you can look back like last vote or 2 or 3 votes ago and start to like figure out, manipulate, like, okay, how does this make them trustworthy or not? But really the best way is like enter each new vote with like a clean slate and just start talking to people and be like, hey, are you working with me this specific vote? Because I think each one brings its own set of like relationships and dynamics and like thoughts for a long-term plan.
Sure. So Ben, I think it was either season 1 or 2, but my brother used to always be like, you have to have a short memory span to survive in this game. Like you can't keep the slights against you or anything like that. Are you feeling that even more in All Stars? Because there are like these pre-existing complex relationships. Like I can't even take that personally. We got to move on to the next banishment.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I have to admit, I haven't really had the opportunity to think like that so far. The votes on Big Green, and I've told this to everybody, were relatively simple, which is kind of weird for All Stars. There wasn't that much coordinating. There was no blindsiding, no backstabbing. And this is my first banishment on this new tribe. So I'm thinking about all of those things and all of those layers. And I'm hoping I'm here tomorrow and hoping that I don't have to have a short memory with anybody, but like I'm expecting if I do survive this one that I'm going to have to apply those words of wisdom.
Okay. So Deanna, I think you guys saw the one where Jerry used an idol, idling Ryan out. That's been the only idol we've seen thus far in the game. And in previous seasons, it always felt like everyone's like, I got to have my ABCD plan because of all that. And it hasn't fully felt like that this season. Are idols of concern to you?
I think they always are, and I think they always are a topic of conversation. But when you talk to someone who you might think has an idol, I think there's more confidence when they do, and they feel like they don't need to put in as much work. And when they don't, it's more of like, this is why I should stay. So it's kind of, you can pick up on those different words that they may use if they feel more confident. And I think that's when you start acting on the plan of, hey, maybe someone has an idol, let's do this tonight. And if they don't, it'll still work in our favor.
Okay, so I know people in this banishment have a 5 p.m. work situation, so I'm going to keep it short tonight. We're going to go directly to voting now. When I say your name, you're going to Slack me directly with who you'd like to vote for. We're going to begin with Joey. Gray. Ben. Hilly. Sophie. Deanna. Jody. Okay, I'm going to count the votes. Okay, now before I read the votes, does anyone have a hidden immunity idol that they would like to play? If so, now would be the time. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys to bring out your phones, turn your lights on. Your light represents your life in this game. Once I read the votes, the decision is final. The player with the most votes will be asked to leave the island. First vote, Jody, 1 for Jody. Second vote, Joey. That's 1 for Jody, 1 for Joey. Joey, that's 2 for Joey, 1 for Jody. Ben, that's 1 for Jody, 1 for Ben, 2 for Joey. Ben, that's 2 for Ben, 2 for Joey, 1 for Jody. Joey, that's 3 for Joey, 2 for Ben, 1 for Jody. 8th person leaving this island is Joey. Joey, your corn time is up. Do you have anything you'd like to say before you go?
I'm shocked. I truly am. And I want to be respectful because I know people have something coming up, but I truly am shocked. I guess this is really just coming up with all of the, I'm getting to do everything I really wanted to do on my Survivor bucket list. I've never been blindsided, and truly this was blindsided. And yeah, didn't see that coming at all. But I just want to say like just a couple things, I guess, quickly. Thank you to all the producers and to all the fans for everything. I like so appreciate it. So love everyone, like love all the support, love you all, like have love getting to know all of you throughout this whole thing. It's been really fun. I really do like all of you and do really wish you all the best of luck going forward, and hope that you all can like, that one of you guys is there at the end. You know, I don't know, I really will cheer you guys on and really do hope you guys are in a good spot. I don't know what else there's to say. I do want to just say, like, you know what I always say, just like, please be safe out there, keep wearing your masks, keeping great people out there. You know, we always try and like do all the things that are important in the world, like Black Lives Matter. I always would say that Black trans lives are important and we want to be advocating for them out in the world. We have a big race coming up in Georgia in January. And if you can do anything to help with that, you know, feel free to definitely do that. But I love you all, and I just really appreciated the time and for everything. So I also want to say thank you to like my family and friends, especially to Brian for getting to do this. I think that just been like, you know, a huge thing. I think that like I grew up like a young person in the closet, and like it was, you know, wasn't expecting to like, you know, get a serious relationship, like, you know, growing up, never saw myself like that. So to have a partner like Brian, I just really appreciate and like love, and it means a lot to me that he would like let me, you know, do this and take all the time for this. So I love you all. I've really appreciated it.
You know, I love Brian. I told you that I'm deeply obsessed with him. And we so appreciate you both, Joey and Brian. Joey, your time is not fully up. You'll be heading to the quarantined. We will be having a battle back soon. There could be some people re-entering this game. Otherwise, QI Reply is on tonight. Jake is on. I don't know who is on with Jake. I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't know. I forgot. Oh, it's Sarah. It's Sarah who is a fan and played in November Teen Challenge. Check out our Instagram for confessionals, YouTube to catch up on anything. Love you all. Stay safe, as Joey said. Bye.